maintenance per mile, and do you use an average cost per new road per mile? And what is that number?
Oh, I truthfully can't answer that.
The reason I ask is the roads keep falling apart.
And this year
it happens
especially.
every spring, and it gets worse and worse. It seems to me we're probably spending as much if we built new versus repair year after year after year.
Yes, we have I can't even remember the name of it. It's a special program that we have, and they go out on our county highways. I think what you're thinking about is a lot of the state highways, frankly, are in far worse shape than most of our county roads. But we make, every year an assessment is done, and the county tries to go out and reseal or do maintenance work to keep them in fairly good shape, where the state has just not put any money in for so long. And that terrible winter that we just had, I mean, I'm just amazed. IDOT came, we had a big transportation meeting a few weeks ago, and they admitted that they had trouble letting out bids because they had used all the state Department of Transportation money. So they had to go back to the legislator and get an extra $20 million for road patching. And they had let most of the bids in all the collar counties, but for some reason they didn't like the bids in Lake County, so the bids for the patching were not even going to be let until May 15th. And for some reason, all the other collar counties were done as a county, but we had East Lake County and West Lake County. So I have not heard how those bids have come in through the state. I'll check on that. But that's kind of what has happened. We just really, it's a total mess, and I don't see it getting better. Did you have a Tristan too?
Two parts of this question. Is the state involved with any of this? Are they providing any of the money for this?
Yes. Well, but
okay, go ahead.
Okay. You're wondering, the state gave us the power to go for an extra quarter-cent. So what I'm talking about today only is that extra quarter-cent sales tax that's going to generate the $29 million. You're probably wondering what's happening to that capital budget in Springfield like everybody else. And the concern that we are able to get the matching state funds so that we can get the federal dollars.
Right.
Yes, I kept asking IDOT because supposedly we need to get a plan before another state is able to get those funds. I never got one, but I really, from what I'm hearing, we're not going to get that plan. It sounds like they're going to do a bare bones budget if they can get it out this week and then go back, because they can't agree on the funding source for the capital fund. They can agree for they think it's gone from 25 billion to 35 billion, but they can't agree on how to fund it. Are they going to sell the lottery? Should they do that? The extra more gambling. So at least they're talking about the funding sources. Usually they just spend and come up with a funding source later.
Does their inability to react on almost everything affect what you do at the county level?
Oh, very much. We're lucky that we have been frugal. We have a AAA bond rating. We have been judicious about watching our cash reserves. Like Winchester House, the payments, it's nothing for the state to be behind 6, 8, 9 months or more. So if we weren't in such a good position, we would have trouble running Winchester House. We've been awarded grants, maybe for the Forest Preserve 9 months ago. We're still waiting for them to pay for those grants. So it really does have an impact on us, and we know we can't count on the state. I mean, some of these intersections that we're going to be working on are state roads. which is really sad. I mean, we have tried and tried to get the state to come forward, and it's just not happening. Jack?
Yeah, Carol, you're also a county forest preserve commissioner. Are there any plans in the forest preserve to run some more forest preserve referendums?
We are looking at that. What we are doing a survey this month. It should be finished. And what it would entail is we could just keep the tax rate as it is instead of lowering it. If we keep the rate the way it is, we could generate, but we would need referendum approval to do that. And we're looking at that. We're getting, depleting most of our land acquisition funds, and we think of the market the way it is. Sometimes we have developers who are not seeing the use that they thought they were going to have with the market. So this is sometimes a very good thing for the forest preserve to buy during this market. But we're assessing that. We do about 600-700 phone calls. Richard Day is helping us with that survey right now. And we'll look at that. The board is concerned of the economy where it is, but no matter what, the residents of Lake County have been extremely supportive of forest preserve referendums. When I was president, we did 2 of them in 2 years. Jack, you know how hard we worked on that together. And they were approved by 67%. And although it is tough economic times, I think that because generally we raised it only $20 or $30, and it wouldn't even be a raise in the taxes. So do you think people would be positive to that?
Well, I'm out and about in the county a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and as you know, the very first forest preserve referendum was organized by myself and Colin McCrae and Dick Brown. I was involved in the other 3 referendums. I will tell you today, the people that I talked to have said basically, we've had enough. We need to have some relief. We have more pressing problems in the county, for example, the highways.
Mm-hmm.
And the highways are probably a larger financial obligation than the forest preserve ever will be. So I think if you go out and start to promote a forest preserve referendum idea, you'll end up with a bloody nose. And that'll discredit the efforts that have been done so far to move the forest preserve forward. I think if I was on the county board, I'd just want to put all my efforts into improving the road situation, which I think is the issue that affects everybody across the board, and let the forest preserve do the best they can with what they've got.
Okay.
I rest my case.
Okay. I know you know this, but unless there are land acquisition bond funds, the forest preserve is basically shut down in acquiring land. And there's probably $150 million of land that has been offered to the forest preserve from willing sellers. So there is still plenty of land to buy, and there's not any way that we can tax other than the referendum. So if we don't pass that right now, then basically we're not able to acquire land. Whereas we have a new revenue source, Jack, this additional $29 million for roads. So I'm hoping that people will consider that too. All right.
Let me talk about that a little bit.